Hi, so in this video we're going to cover Power Apps and we'll give you an overview of especially the model-driven apps, right? So we'll cover what are the types of Power Apps, we'll differentiate between model-driven apps and canvas apps, and then we'll focus more in model-driven apps in this video specifically. I'll walk you through a real-life example of how organizations are using model-driven apps. We'll cover all the features that you can find within model-driven apps and how you can effectively leverage them on your projects. I'll also explain how Power Apps fits within the Microsoft ecosystem overall, and we'll finish on how to get started so that you can start building Power Apps for your organization. So let's cover the types of Power Apps. So Power Apps comes in two flavors, right? So you have your model-driven apps, which are built on top of data model or structured data where tables and relationships define the app's behavior. The user interface, which is the UI, is automatically generated for you following standard layout where you can customize certain parts of the application. This is best for complex business processes like managing customer records or an approval workflow. The other type of Power Apps are what we call canvas apps. So they give you full control over the user experience and the layout of your app. You decide how everything looks and works. The UI, which is the user interface, lets you place elements like screens, input fields, shapes, galleries, whatever you want in your app. This is best for highly custom user experiences like mobile apps or dashboards. So let's cover a real-life example of a model-driven app, right? So here, this is a model-driven app that is used to manage scholarship applications. So the business scenario here is students are applying to get a scholarship and you have a review process where a reviewer can review all the applications, right? So you can see the model-driven app has a name. You can see that it has a consistent UI with elements on your left, where if I click on scholarship application, which is my table where scholarship applications are being created for the students, you can then see a list of scholarship applications. Columns are being shown. You can filter on the columns. You can select additional views here to filter out certain records and so forth. And to see the details of a record, you can click on the URL and that will take you to the form of that record where reviewer can then update fields on the form, review the application, assign the application to another owner. Business rules can be created, for example, on rejection or approval. We can generate an email being sent to the applicant, or a task can be created for someone to review and so forth. The model-driven app so has those elements on the left, but if you go, for example, to a dashboard, you can show a nice dashboard being generated for all the applications, for example, with statistical data and so forth. And you can also see copilots on the right-hand side where you can kind of ask questions to further analyze your data in your model-driven app. So in the next few minutes, I'll cover all the features that you can use to create model-driven apps. So let's now cover some of the key features available for you in model-driven apps. So everything starts with connecting to your data. So effectively, you will design your data model, you create your tables, you create your relationships, and then effectively, those will look as follow in your app. You will see a list of records available for you. So Dataverse is your preferred way of storing the data for Power Apps, but you can also connect Power Apps to SharePoint lists and SQL Server databases using what we call virtual tables. The second thing that you get is your user interface. So once you create your tables, you bring your tables into your app, you will get your navigation built based on those tables that you put in your model-driven apps. You can then leverage lists, so you can list all those records in those tables, and you can have various different lists with different filtering, different layout, and so forth. And of course, you need something to open the records and edit them. So for that, you'll use your forms. So forms are used to visualize the details of records using tabs, sections, and so forth. And then you can create and edit records using forms. What you also get natively is search. So once you add your tables, you create your views, your forms, you'll be able to use various searching mechanisms in model-driven apps, right? So global search lets you search across multiple tables in your model-driven app. You can also use view search, as the name indicates. You will search then within a specific view or within a specific table. And then you have also your advanced first, where you can effectively edit the filtering criteria, be more specific into what you're searching for. And what you also get is the whole security of your model-driven app, right? So you can determine that you want to secure your app, right? So restrict access to the app. You can also go to the level of the table. So you can specify who can see the tables, who can create, edit the tables, and so forth. Then you can go down to the level of the record, right? So you can specify who from your users can see specific records or edit specific records. And then you can even go to the level of the column, setting if specific users can edit or see specific columns in your table. Then you can start also adding automation and logic, right? So after you have created your app, you can define some workflow. So for example, on creation of a record, you want to accomplish something else, or on update on a record, I want to do a task. So typical scenario in our application here is on creation of an application, I want to maybe send an email to the applicant. Or if an application needs more review, we can set the status to review. That will create a task for a reviewer to do something and so forth. So that's your workflow logic. You can also use business rules to define some rules on the user interface, right? So if certain values are selected, I want to make other values read-only or required or hide complete section of the form and so forth. And of course, you can leverage Power Automate Cloud Flows, right? Very powerful tool where effectively you can drive automation and logic, but then use all the other connectors available for you. So Power Automate has over 1,000 connectors, where on a specific trigger, you can do action. So typical scenario here on creation or update of a record in Power App, I want to do an action in SharePoint. So for example, I want to create a document in SharePoint. I want to maybe create something in Azure DevOps, or I want to connect to my Salesforce. So you can leverage all these connectors to do some logic using additional application in your process. Now, charts and dashboards, you can also build charts and dashboards on your data in Power Apps. So you can leverage native charts and dashboards in Power Apps to create them rapidly based on records. You can then interact with those charts to filter out, the records in your app. And if you need more advanced capabilities and visualization, you can use Power BI dashboards and reports. And finally, AI, where Microsoft will invest a lot of effort and money in the upcoming releases for model-driven apps. So you can interact with a copilot, for example, in the chat. You can also leverage various copilots throughout your app to help you create records, to help you search for records, visualize records, and so forth. You can use Copilot Studio to extend the Copilot chat experience, editing that Copilot, adding additional knowledge, additional action, additional topics. So anything that you can do in Copilot Studio, you can effectively do to enhance your chat experience or your Copilot within model-driven app. And you can also leverage AI Builder models, AI Builder prompts, very powerful tool where you can effectively ingest some AI insight or AI features within your model-driven app. So let's take a look at where Power Apps sits within the Microsoft ecosystem. So first, everything resides in Azure, right? So Azure is kind of your infrastructure for Power Apps. Then if you look at the business application landscape, you have your Dynamics 365 apps on your left-hand side, and you have Power Platform, right? So Power Apps sits within the Power Platform. And then next to Power Apps, you have Power BI, Power Automate, Power Page, Copilot Studio, and so forth. And then on top of that, you have your Microsoft 365 application like, Outlook, Word, SharePoint, Teams, and of course, Copilot. So how to get started with Power Apps? So look, the easiest way is for you to sign up for a Power Apps developer plan. So if you navigate to the Microsoft Power Apps website, you can start for free. So after you have successfully created your developer account, you should have access to the Maker portal to create your new app. And effectively, if you navigate to create, you will have many options to create a new Power App application. If you struggle to create that developer account, check maybe with your internal IT, because they might have some restriction to not allow effectively anyone creating developer account. They might be able to create a developer account for you, which then you can have access to create your first app. Voila, I hope that you liked this video, and if that's the case, give me a thumbs up and don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more videos like this one about overviews of technologies in Microsoft and so forth. So see you in the next one. Bye.